broadcasting from the great state of Delaware. What's going on, everybody? As I start to talk, this AC thing goes on. Oh my gosh, look at that. I ain't gonna move. Should I move? I might move. I think I should move. I'm gonna move. Hey, listen, leave my son Zion Williamson alone. I'm gonna move. Give myself a little distance. Yeah, let's get a little distance between that sound. How you doing, everybody? Listen, I'm out here in the great state of Delaware. Listen, no, why didn't you guys, you Americans ain't right. Y'all didn't tell me Delaware was so nice. You guys did not tell me Delaware was so nice. In fact, most people in Canada don't even know where Delaware is. That's good. They can't come find me. Listen, Delaware is like an hour from Philly, an hour from DC, an hour and a half from New York City and New Jersey. Like Delaware is like right in the smack dab of everybody. And for people in Toronto, Delaware is like Burlington. The whole state's like the city of Burlington. Just for giving you an idea of what's around in Toronto. Delaware is basically Burlington. Even black folk here in Delaware, like Canadian black folk who live in Burlington. Like Burlington is a suburb, and Delaware is like a whole suburb everywhere. Even Wilmington, even the hood's a suburb. Well, I'm out here in Delaware, man, and I'm being accommodated by a great family, African family that is on their way out to Africa, and told me to come here and to hang out their spot. They're basically giving me the run of the ranch for a little while, so I very much appreciate that. Holler out to Dr. Mensa and the fam, and they've taken good care of me out here for a little while in Delaware, so they ain't around, and I'm just going to hang out here for a little while in the country, in the countryside of Delaware. They have a very wonderful place out here, so I'm enjoying myself. So listen, to the Cyclopses that are in the building, Earth, Wind, Fire, Spirit, come on, stand up. To the Cyclopses that are in the building, all my members, I appreciate you very much. To the supporters, to the subscribers who are on this page, please subscribe. If you come on here and you've gotten a little taste of what the big fella can bring to the table, everybody I keep meeting, I meet all these people as I come to the States are like, I had no idea you're this tall. Everybody meets me, is like, wow, you're way taller than you look like. It's like Jared, what's that guy, Jared Jacks or whatever his name. Everybody sees him in real life and they're like, he's this big buff dude. So I'm not as buff as probably Jacks, but I'm taller. So listen, let's have a conversation about this situation right now. The cult of life, love, and religion. The cult of life, love, and religion. No NBA player has been in deeper scandal lately. And I affectionately call him my son. I ain't going to stop calling him my son. If the DNA test comes back negative, I'm still going to call him my son, Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson, I love him. He's one of the most exciting basketball players I have ever seen in the NBA. In high school, I was in love with him in high school. I was in love with him in college. I'm in love with him in the NBA. And I don't care what you say about his weight, about his injury capacity. I don't care what you say. Even what's going on currently in his life we're going to talk about. That's my son. I'm sticking with him. I'm riding with him. He's the second coming of greatness in the NBA. And I can't wait to continue to watch his career. And good morning, everyone. Listen, enlighten number one. Good morning. Good morning to you. Listen. Oh boy, Zion has fallen into one heck of a dilemma for his life. So, you give a young fella, a young boy, hundreds of millions of dollars and an Instagram account, and boy, all hell will break loose with that young man's life. Hey, shout out to John Morant. So, this is the problem that we have right now, is that we have these young fellas falling into the cult of I'm going to start with the cult of life. And just so you guys understand what I'm talking about, life in itself is a cult. Life in itself, when people start developing these cultural practices and Young men, young black men. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about a young black bull, a black man who God has gifted with talents that the world has really ever seen, and he has now put himself and his family in a position to have generational wealth for playing a basketball game or playing a sport. And now we've unleashed him into the world and told him, go out there and architecturally um, construct the culture of what you want your life to be. And the problem is that we have a generation. Let me put myself closer to my back. For those who don't know, my back has been, whew. I did something to my back. I realized I did something to my ribs, and the ribs affected my back. Um, Grown men should not be on TikTok. That's all I got to say about that. But for this generation out here right now, what is happening is that it's hard for young black men to construct positive, godly, family-oriented culture when we have given them all of this money, all of this ability to go out there and live their lives, and we've given them no guidance. And Zion, and of course, we can also extend this to Jah, are young men who looks like they have guidance, but they actually don't. And so we have to extend the conversation of what guidance is. Guidance is simply not just your mother or your father, teaching you how to play basketball, telling you got to be a decent young man, and standing there on the podium when you've decided to go to this university, or when you've got drafted or given an award. Guidance is having the cultural support structures around you to make sure that we don't just leave these young men in a position to essentially destroy their life because of the financial capacity that they have. And I want to say this very clearly, and you guys might not agree with me, and ladies, I don't wish to offend you, but I feel that Zion Williamson is a victim of his own personal wealth. This woman, who is now referred to as Mariah M. or Mariah Mills, internet. I don't want to claim what the internet says about anybody. It says that she's a porn star. The internet says that she's now a hip hop artist, and she's clearly a young woman with an agenda to make sure she connects herself with a very rich, young, impressionable black man. I think Zion is being victimized by a culture that latches on to the wealth of these young, black, unguided superstars, with an intention to simply take them for everything that they have. And we have seen this story before. In other ways, we've seen it with people like Dennis Rodman and his management. The lady, I think her name was Peggy. Peggy took every penny Dennis Rodman had. She sucked every penny. It wasn't just Dennis. She had other athletes too. She took everything these people had because these young men, as accomplished as they are in their particular sport, they are unprepared for life. They are unprepared for life. And money doesn't prepare you for life. Wealth does not put you in a position where you can handle life by yourself. And what it does, unfortunately, to young black men in America, it makes them victims, right? It makes them, some of my plants fell down. It makes them victims. And he is being victimized in his particular situation. He's being victimized by his own lust. Let's have a conversation about what lust is. And we see lust for the very first time. It shows up, and I just want to talk to some people before you guys get carried away. Lust shows up very early in the architecture of creation in the world. It shows up to two perfect people. So some of you think, oh, Zion, he's messing up, or that youth over there is messing up because, they weren't raised properly. We know with Zion Williamson and John Morant, they were raised properly. They had good parents. Okay, they're Southern. They have good manners. Okay, they're high character individuals in respect to how they've been brought and presented to us as people. And so this is why you have to understand what lust is. Lust shows up and presents itself personified in a satanic, slithery, serpentine inducement and in a fruit. And it presents itself to two perfect people. God creates two perfect people. People with no sin. Two of them. He creates two of them. They have no sin, no guile, no sin history. They have no inclination to sin. They have no negative human influences around them. But yet, lust attaches itself to them. And let me explain to you in Genesis chapter 3. Many of you have read it before, and I'm going to read 6 verses, and let these 6 verses categorize what I'm trying to let you guys know today. It says, "Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden." That's the question. He says, hasn't God told you that you can eat of every tree in the garden? Didn't he say you can eat of every tree? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, Ye shall not eat it, neither shall you touch it, unless you die. You're going to die. And the serpent said unto the woman, You're not going to surely die. For God knows that in the day that you eat, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Introduction. Brother Zion definitely has a type. He loves ratchet women. I can't blame the brother. You ain't right, Dre. Hold on a second. We ain't going to call these women ratchet. I ain't going to say it. And verse 6 in my last verse, "And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired, to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also to her husband with her, and he did eat." Okay? Lust is clearly, from the very beginning, a two-person sport, right? So Brother Zion, if he lusts, I won't even use the word love. I won't disrespect the word love in this scenario, but I understand what you're saying, Dre. If he lusts after ratchet woman, he's ratchet too. That's all there is to it. You love what you are. You draw your pedigree. He's drawing from his own pedigree. And so Zion lusts after what he is. He's drawing from what he sees in himself, what he sees that he deserves. And he clearly identifies Mariah Mills, even if she's historical, he identifies Mariah Mills as somebody who he thinks deserves him and somebody he thinks he deserves. Even the current girl that he actually got pregnant, he is still building an archetype of what that brother sees on the inside, right? And the other part of it is what I'm trying to say is that Zion is a victim of lust. He's a victim of lust because what we have created here, and I'm going to use it very clearly. I think Instagram is a very deadly beast. is it for a visual person, and if you have eyes in your head and you are a human male, Instagram is a very deadly beast. And Dr. Dre says here, I'm gonna call you Dr. Dre. Grand rising to you, Tammy. Zion is a 5-year, $200 million contract. Yeah, the Lion of Zion. I call him. The second. I called him Zion the Messiah, because he's the second coming. So the instrument of what is drawing this man is Instagram, and Instagram has affected how this young man is seeing the world. And we know John Morant's issues and problems that he has had has been because of Instagram. Instagram has created this phenomena that is getting these young men in incredible amounts of trouble, and not in just one capacity, not in just one category. It's putting him in a position where he is being essentially drawn in by the cult. I'm going to call it like that, the cult of lust. The cult of lust and the cult of life, right? The cult of lust and the cult of life, right? This scripture says that that this woman in verse 6, speaking of Eve, it was a tree that was good for food, right? All the trees were good for food. Why did she want that tree? All the trees in the garden were good for food. So why was she lusting after what she shouldn't want, right? It was drawing from something that is forbidden. Look at that. We have this tenacity and capacity to want what's forbidden. If you want to take it off the table, if you want to take lust off the table, a lot of times you have to say, listen, what? I'm not going to make that a forbidden fruit for you. We can enjoy that experience if you want to enjoy that. There's scenarios where people have repressed scenarios. This is where I'm going to get into the cult of religion now. You have repressed scenarios that allow lust to creep in, right? I always say to myself too, and I'm going to be honest with the scenario, and and I'm going to answer it. But why did God even put that tree there? Why would you? And this is the thing. You could have put it there. Why'd you even have to tell me it's there? There's so many other trees that I might not even ever have seen that tree. I might not even have noticed that tree. And if you didn't tell me that I couldn't eat of it, I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even be curious about it, right? That young man was taken advantage of by a slightly older woman, and it's so sad. And Tammy Dorsey, I agree 100%. These girls know what they want. Mariah Mills is carrying on. I was truly in love with you, Zion. I wanted to have your baby, Zion. I thought we were riding with each other, Zion. This young lady, I ain't gonna call her no names. I ain't gonna get out here and call these young black women with bodies shaped in doctors' offices, because this young lady's body was definitely shaped under the knife of a surgeon. God bless you. Good morning. See you. This young black woman's body was not shaped, did not come out of the womb. That's not a biological body. That is a doctor. That was a body created by a doctor, and she is utilizing her doctor created form to essentially declare to the world that she was absolutely in love with Zion. I let you, just it's one of her quotes, I let you spit in my mouth. Like, resonate with that nonsense right now. Like, these are things, she is getting into intimate details of what this young man and her were doing. Intimate details. And of course, the purpose of it isn't to declare her love, but it's to chase away the other girl so that he now has to come back to her, sharing, oh, I thought you were going to move me to New Orleans. How are you going to have her and me? And she also went as far as saying, hey, well, she's pregnant. Well, I'm late too. I might be pregnant too. Sis, we about to be We about to be sister wives. Like, I'm about to be a stepmom. Like, she has gone to the point where she's not even using it anymore to get Zion back per se, or to shame Zion. She's using it because she realizes it gives her a platform, for her so-called rap career. And other women have come out and said the very same thing. They've, like, imagine, gentlemen, and unfortunately, I've been this has been something that's happened to me, and I'm going to try to put it past me too. But I have left relationships where people have created social media platforms based on our relationship. Like, they went and created a social media platform based on our relationship, and it hurt, and I didn't like it, and it definitely wasn't anywhere near as scandalous as this. But the fact that she's using him again to create her own mystique, her own brand, just speaks even more of her intent and her manipulation to victimize the situation with this young black millionaire. All right, let me see what people are saying. May have been a test. Explain that. Good morning, Dell, Shiloh family. What's going on there, Carla? What's happening? Let me get into, hey Carla, good seeing you. Okay, everybody's being friendly. Okay, that's good. I like it. Talk to each other, people. We as a family out here. It's family business. And if it's family business, these are our sons out here. Good to see you, Francesca Wallace. Yeah, man, Yvonne. We need to pray for the young man because, listen, everybody understands a young man in his sexuality. Like, we don't have to be taboo about none of this, right? This ain't the taboo channel. Young man in his sexuality, he's gonna go out there, and he's been plowing the road. Let's not pull any punches now. He's got the money to do it. He knows what these young ladies want. They want bags. They want trips. They want fancy dinners. Okay. One woman was talking about, oh, I thought you were going to give me was it a Balanci? It was. She said Balenciaga, but I thought she was talking, oh, a Bottega, which is a vehicle. She wants some $200,000 car. Like he's offering these women things that regular brothers just simply cannot do, and these girls know it. And there is a brand of women. There is a culture of women, and I have to call them. I'm not calling y'all names. I'm saying you're a typology of feminine, female hyenas that prey off the carcass of rich, young, dumb boys. Rich, young, dumb boys. They prey on these individuals. They prey on their lust, right? We saw Jordan Poole. I believe Jordan Poole gave a stripper, I think, $1 million, like for nothing. Like, just gave her $1 million to go on a date or something dumb like that. Like, these guys and the rap artists are right up there too. They are buying into a broken system that has not been put together to properly guide their mentality. Imagine you give a young man $200 million and he goes and finds a stripper. And many of you people here, back in the day we'd say, yeah, and even currently, well, these guys, what they do is they go find a white woman and they marry her, right? And we have called that some kind of grievous sin. You call it some kind of grievous sin. And I'll tell you right now, I'll sit here right now and say very plainly, I rather Zion would have gone and found a nice, wholesome white girl from the than gone out here and found himself porn stars, sisters who are selling their body in the sex industry, and decided to now wife one of them. I prefer that. Because what is the example from the black community? What are black women saying now? These two young black girls who've had access to Zion Williamson have gotten money and platforms of Zion Williamson. What's it telling young black girls? Let me go out here, shape my body under the sculpture knife of some very talented surgeon, transition the fat deposits into my behind and other places, and let me go out here and trap some multimillionaire. This is the way. This is what love is. The cult of life, love, and religion. This is what love is. That I'm going to go out here and trap me one of these dudes. I'm going to develop an Instagram profile. I'm not going to get an education. I'm not going to have high levels of standards. I'm not going to be a woman of God. I'm not going to be a woman of integrity and intelligence. I am going to have a big behind. I'm going to have butterfly eyelashes. I'm going to have a magnificent mane on my head that doesn't belong to me potentially. And I'm going to go out here and trap me an NBA, NFL, whatever else star, a rap artist. Come on, man. And these young black guys, like we don't scream out of our heads when these young black guys go and they find themselves attached to a woman basically in the sex industry in our own culture. And we don't hold these ladies accountable. We don't hold them accountable to that lifestyle because they're influencing our daughters now. Our daughters are looking at their bodies, they're looking at their presentation, we're looking at their access to rich, eligible young men and saying, I guess I have to be one of them in order for me to really catch myself a husband. There's so very few black women today that are building their daughters to be wives. Can I hold y'all accountable today? There's so many few black women today that are building their daughters to be wives. We have gone to the place now, even in the cult of religion, where I think we have a dichotomy of messaging that's gone out to black women. It's half of the church, half of the religious sector is saying that we want you black women to be independent. You don't need a man. You need to go out there and get an education, and you need to do this and do that. And then half of them are saying to black women, okay, we need you to be good wives. It's not half. I'd say it's 90-10. How many of us? The Bible says older women teach the younger women to be good wives. Wives. Are we building a culture of wives? And this is our fear. I talk about my daughters all the time, and I fear their capacity to be good wives. They would sooner exit a relationship. We have women that are sooner in our black community. Black women exit relationships faster than they hold on to them. I have two. I'm not even talking about myself, which I can. But black women exit relationships with eligible, loving black men. I'm not talking about ones getting abused physically. I'm not talking about individuals who are being hurt and dragged and beaten up by some psychopath. I'm talking about black women that are in relationships with brothers and have regular relationship issues. They exit. So what are we really teaching our daughters? We're teaching our daughters that the women that get men are women in the sex industry, are women with big behinds, are women who have lower levels of standards. Those are the ladies who get the bag. And then the other side we're teaching them, the so-called women of God and the so-called women of standard are teaching their daughters, oh, well, if you're not happy in your relationship, it's okay to leave your man of God husband. It's okay to leave the pastor. It's okay to leave that hard-working regular guy. It's okay to say, you know what, I just got to do this for myself, right? And I'll give you a scripture right now, ladies, that we're living in this age today, and it's a hard pill to swallow. It's a very hard pill to swallow. And again, I did not come here to beat up black women. I did not come here to jump down your throat and to get on top of y'all and to mess with y'all mind today. I didn't come here to do that. But I want to show you something, and you tell me if what I'm saying is true. It says, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And the word here is men, but I think it's talking about the age that we're living in. It's not talking about men only. And I'll say, let me see, Carolock, it's a shame everyone in this situation are weak and stupid. We have to teach our children to be smarter and to think. And we have to give them different standards, right? We have to give them different standards. We tell our kids, what's healthy and what's not healthy. Man, I've seen more Cocoa Puffs on fridges since I've come to America. I've seen the dietary examples that we've been given, that folks give their children in this country. Because it comes down not even just to how to live, but it's what you put in your body. It's what is the example we're giving. But check this scripture out. This know also that in the last days, perilous, meaning dangerous times shall come. For men or people shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents. Right? So some of y'all dealing with these little teenagers that are acting this way. This is the season of that. Disobedient, unthankful. Right? You have some ungrateful kids in your home. This is the sign of the last time. You've done everything for these children. You buy them everything. You've given them everything. And you're saying to yourself, man, I must have spoiled these kids. I didn't raise them properly. Guess what? You're in the season where the spirit, this last day spirit of evil has come over a generation. It's the apostasy of the age. And this is where you're living. You're living in a spirit of apostasy, a cult of life, love, and religion. It affects everything. Listen to what it says as I finish. Disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. This is 2 Timothy 3. Without natural affection. Have we met people like this? Do you have people like this in your life? Do you have people like this that you're in a relationship with? Do you have people like this who are your children, who are your spouses or ex-spouses? They have no natural affection. They are murderous. They have murderous mentalities. They're disconnected. They leave relationships and they have no nostalgia. Baby, don't you remember how we used to talk about our future? Don't you remember when we went over here? And you send them a picture and they don't care. You talk about, hey, you know what? I don't know how you broke up so easy, and they move on quickly. They move to the next relationship without a care in the world. They will leave you standing on the side of the road. They will come on social media, drag you. They don't care. Without natural affection, not extraordinary affection, just natural decency. We don't have it anymore. Truce breakers, false accusers, people who just come up and just arbitrarily make up stuff, knowing it's going to destroy your life, knowing it's going to destroy your family, knowing it's going to destroy your children, knowing it's going to destroy your reputation, knowing it's going to destroy your churches, knowing it's going to destroy your job. But they don't care. They just make something up. People who I'm not talking about strangers now. I'm talking about friends. I'm talking about family. I'm talking about loved ones. I'm talking about people you built life with doing this kind of stuff to you. Incontented, meaning no self-control, fierce, despisers of those that are good. You ever have haters that hate you only because, oh, you think you're some goody two-shoes. You think you're better than everybody, huh? Yo, I'm going to show you. Traitors, just traitors, just people who will just sell you out for nothing. Heady, meaning they're hotheads, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness. Here we go with the cult of religion. The cult of religion is an incredible thing. That sometimes you could be sitting there thinking that this is really a place that holiness could break out, but there's no holiness around it. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. That's the message. From such turn away. And I'll finish the last two verses. For this are the sort which creep into houses, Zion, and lead captive silly women laden with sins, laid away with diverse lusts, ever learning, never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. This is the season we are in. Thank you. Great points and scriptural references. I have to ask what role we have played in raising children who reflect these qualities, I think you're trying to say. Have we created the situation by spoiling our children? I would say no. And it's not leaving the accountability out of our situation. We have a level of accountability. But I can use my own situation, and I have a very entitled 16-year-old daughter, a very entitled young lady that we raised in church, that she has two educated parents. She does well in school, but she doesn't do well in life. She has an inability to take accountability for her own behaviors, her own friends circle. Like I call her the little monster. Now I'm talking about my own child, so you don't feel like I'm talking about yours. And her and her mother, and we split. We've gone our separate ways, not because I wanted to. I fought for years to be in that relationship, but we went our separate ways, and we destroyed our household. And I have to I'll be accountable. We destroyed our household, and now this young 16-year-old girl is a product of our broken home and the culture. And for those who might still be in a relationship and you're still experiencing this, I'm going to say it's a spirit of apostasy. I'm also going to say that the reason that so many ministers, I'm talking about pastors, bishops, ministers, their wives are packing their bags and walking out the door. They're not even walking out the door saying, I'm going to marry that bishop or that pastor. They're walking out the door and saying, I just want to live my life. I want to travel. I want to wear nice clothes. I want to be in parties. I want to experience different things. They're not walking out from faith to faith. They're walking out from faith to the world. And they're saying the world is out here and I want to live it. I want a part of it. I want a piece of it. And so we have a level of accountability, but this is a season where the minds of these young people, and they call them Generation Z, many of us don't understand them. We don't understand them. They're different. They're completely different. I've got two young sons who again raised them from the ground up. And my oldest boy, he's good, but my two other ones in their 20s, they're not. And it's a fight every day to keep these guys focused on life. They're running themselves into legal problems, running themselves into relationship problems. It's a fight to keep a young 22 to 25-year-old man is still a boy. He's still a boy in his mind. He still needs guidance, but he's a grown man legally, and they're running into problems that I don't have the capacity. Sometimes I have to sit back and say, what did I do wrong? But then I think I brought these boys up right way. I've never abandoned them. I taught them. I sent pictures to our chat group and said, remember this? Remember when we were young, we did the boxing. Remember we did this. Remember they did that. I got to remind them. Dad's always been here. Dad's always been coaching you, counseling you, talking to you, feeding you, blessing you, loving you. Always been here, right? One of my 23-year-old boys, my oldest son, I think that boy's one spanking. He's one spanking. The middle boy, one spanking that we always talk about and remember because he was chasing his siblings around with a knife. The last boy, he got his butt whooped all the time because he was just out of pocket, right? And so 3 different almost parenting approaches in the same household, 3 different results. So, I'm the same parent, one boy functioning, doing his thing, oldest one, his 2 little brothers, problems. Oldest sister doing her thing, relationship problems. 16-year-old, smart girl problems. 11-year-old, perfect child. Like the same household. I got 6 of them. 6 of them. And I've got different results for all of them. So some of this thing is the spirit of the age, is what I'm trying to say. Thanks for sharing and being so transparent. Thank you very much. Yeah, I have to, because, people are going to say, hey, isn't that your son? Ain't that your daughter out here doing? Yeah, so I got to be transparent. Listen, man, there's no such thing as a perfect parent. I haven't met one. And there's no such thing as perfect children even responding to perfect parents, right? God is a perfect parent with disobedient children. God is a perfect parent with disobedient children. Think about that before you throw yourself under the old guillotine yourself. God is a perfect parent who made two perfect people, put them in a perfect garden, and they still sinned and destroyed a perfect situation. Zion Williamson is a product of an apostasy apostasy error, an error of apostasy, I should say it like that, where we see that wealth, privilege, talent does not put you out of bounds from being dragged down. This young boy, what he's done wrong, he's chosen the wrong woman. Imagine that's your only sin. Imagine that your only sin is that your only sin is that, and let's reverse it so we don't keep jumping on the ladies, that your only sin is that you've chosen the wrong man in your life. You've chosen a man who's just doesn't have the capacity to honor you, doesn't have the capacity to do right by you. You've gone to school, you've been a good person your entire life, you're God-fearing, and you've just allowed the wrong man to be someone you loved, and that situation essentially destroyed you. Imagine that's your only problem, your only true sin. Zion Williamson, let's use him as a type. For all intensive purposes, his choices and what he chooses to love is what currently has a stranglehold on his life. Sometimes we talk about love, the cult of love. You should not love everything. You should not love everything. Because the example that we got of John 3:16 is that the love of the world requires you to sacrifice what is dear to you. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. The love of everything requires you to sacrifice what is dear to you. What's going on, Ashcash 147? The love of everything requires you to sacrifice what is dear to you. And so if you are wise and you do not want to live a sacrificial life where you have to die on crosses to save everything, you must be careful of what you love. You must condition yourself to love what is healthy. And this is the point of this, the cult of love, of life and religion. You must condition yourself to expose yourself to religious environments that are healthy, because you can put yourself in a religious environment that absolutely destroys you. You can put yourself, and I'm not talking about anything faith specific. I'm not talking about being in the wrong faith. I'm talking about individuals who say, I'm in the right faith. I'm in the right faith, but you're in the wrong location for that faith because you're in a cult of religion that might destroy you. You're in the wrong atmosphere that might literally destroy you. People go and get married, right institution, right? They say, I'm not gonna fornicate. I'm not gonna just live out here. I'm gonna get married. I'm gonna have one of the sacraments of marriage being over my life, and I'm gonna raise my family under the auspices of that sacrament, right institution. But the wrong choice in who you love can destroy you. Can destroy you. And the worst thing to be is in a Hosea Gomer relationship. A relationship where you are a savior to an individual that doesn't have the capacity to reciprocate the covenant with you, doesn't have the capacity to birth out what comes from you, but is birthing out things in the world. And we have a relationship with a culture that we have created in the Black community in North America on social media, that we have now released a demon onto our own children that we can't control. Something that makes young women and young men attract to the worst aspects of themselves. in our own community, and we can't control it. It's out of control. It is a beast. It is a demonic stronghold in the lives of our young black superstars, and it's male and female. The women are saying, this is my platform to be seen. The men are saying, this is my platform to go and acquire what I want. Now that I've got millions, let me go get the baddest chick on Instagram. Let me go get the baddest porn star, the baddest stripper, and make her my wife, my baby mom. Come on, sir. Come on, man. Come on. Can't love everything. Can't love everybody. You can't. You can't. There's some things the Bible says there's things that God hates. He says there's 6 things that the Lord hates, and the 7th is an abomination unto him. There's some things that you have to build in your spirit and say, I hate this. Literally, right, and I'll call it this, righteous hate. Because if the Bible says God can hate something, if God can hate it, I can hate it. I should hate what God hates. A proud look, right? Hands that quick to shed innocent blood, right? A lying tongue. Like these things, the Bible says he hates it. Thank you very much, Afro-Asiatic. So we need to be extremely careful. Zion Williamson is going to become an archetype of what black men love. Wow. He had a t-shirt. On the back of his t-shirt, I'm coming down right now. On the back of his t-shirt, he has, I'm on, and when he went to take a photo shoot with his current child's mother, because the way that boy is going, he might have a few. My son, he's my son, man, he's my son. But the way that he's going, he's going to have one baby mama. He might be that Sean Kemp. He might be Dwight Howard. Yeah, I don't know, boy. Please slow down, Zion. Jeez, Lord. He had, the t-shirt said, I'm only here because I don't want to be yelled at. Oh. If that was my daughter, and that young man, that $200 million superstar, who is coming to a photo shoot and a gender reveal of our child, and he's wearing that t-shirt, I would take it as a personal disrespect as a father. You're telling me that what you're saying you're here only because you don't want to be yelled at. Boy, you're here because you impregnated my child. That's why you're here. And you're going to do right by her. That's right. You're not here because you don't want to be yelled at. You're here because it's your responsibility as a man to own up to the fact that you have entered into an unmatrimonial sexual relationship with my child and have impregnated her. And now you're here to do what is right. Change your t-shirt. Change your t-shirt. It's not cute. If I was the father of that girl, I'd be offended. And that's my son. I'd be offended. And this is the culture and the context of how we are living your life. Come on, baby. I came from Detroit just a while ago. I'm coming down in 2 minutes. I'm out in 2 minutes. I came from Detroit. I've never seen BBLs like I've seen in Detroit. They handing out BBLs like chicken and waffles in Detroit. I hear you can get loans for the BBL. Now you can pay off a BBL like a Honda Civic. I've never seen so many BBLs in Detroit. I said, oh my goodness, everybody got a BBL. The dog got a BBL in Detroit. The trannies got a BBL in Detroit. Everybody got a BBL. There's a culture. There's certain cultures that have it. It's stripper culture in certain cities in America. Stripper culture rules. Stripper culture rules. Right? There's that culture rules. Sex industry culture rules. I got to get my body done. And then what am I going to do with my body? I'm going to go out there and make money and have guys throwing dollar bills at me. Come on, man. Hanging out with women who pull a stack of ones out of their pocket. Say, I got the bill, baby. Got a stack of ones thicker than this Bible. That's the culture we're living in. And then what is the alternative, right? These young black women are going to get their degrees and their education, and they're coming out to a world that says $20 an hour. Thank you, $20 an hour, sweetheart. And she's like, I can $20 an hour. I can go trap a superstar online, or I can go out here and make this money myself and be a part-time rental prostitute / stripper. That's a hard road, baby. Or I can go out here and marry a black man that only makes an average of $40,000, $50,000 a year, and probably doesn't want to potentially marry me because this generation of men is not interested in being married. Yeah, we've cornered our women into a corner too. We created it. Yes, Dale, I agree. I didn't realize that thought expressed on that T wasn't real. Nah, that I didn't like that thought. I didn't like that thought. What about the depreciation on the BBL? Valerie, you ain't right. You ain't right, Valerie. Them BBLs depreciate. The second you walk up the doctor's office, that BBL is worth 50% of what you brought it in for. Come on. Woof. Woof. Let me tell you something. Right? That you got to maintain that BBL. Come on, I see you coming straight out of the BBL right into the gym. The least, I'm out here, right? I'm gone. I got to get off this right now. You know the least populated place in Detroit? I love beats from Detroit, though. I got to go back. The gym. Ain't nobody in the gym in Detroit. Bunch of brothers, old people in the gym. I was like, how is the gym always empty? But everybody got a perfect body. Boy, they're going from the BBL straight to the gym. They put a little photo shoot up there for 2 weeks, and they pretend like, yeah, this is me working on my body. No, you didn't. Hey, listen, support the channel. This is Del K. Burton. This is The Real Spiel. I'm out. The cult of life, love, and religion. The cult of life, love, and religion. Listen, nothing is excused. You can catch that. You can be in a cult of life, a cult of love, a cult of religion. You got to be careful in these streets right now. You got to be careful out here. You got to be careful what you endorse. You got to be careful. When I'm gonna close like this. I was talking to somebody who I highly esteem, and they're going through something, and supposedly, a woman of standard and whatnot, and the stress and the pressure of it allowed her to speak terminologies, like use words I've never heard her use. And I said, hey, you're swearing a lot. You're swearing a lot. And I realized that sometimes what life does for us, man, is it drags us to our most base self. And we got to stop that. We got to stop it from letting us do that. You got to stop it. And she reminded me, she goes, well, I remember when you used to cuss all. I said, okay, I'm not justifying my bad behavior. I'm not. But I'm just saying, I'm not used to hearing you swear this much. I'm not used to hearing you talk like this. This is really affecting you. And this is not who you are. And I want you to revisit the you that you know you are, and just fix up, man. And that's sometimes what we need to do. Just revisit the person that you know you are and say, you know what? My actions isn't who I am. It's something that I've done, but it's not who I am. All right? Let me close it right there. I love you. Bless you. Stick with me. Stay with me. This is Del K. Brereton out here in Delaware, baby. I'm coming back, but I'm going to leave it out there right now. It's thoughts to think about. Thoughts to think about. Mariah Mills, baby, stop. Let's cut it out now. Leave that young boy alone. Leave that young boy alone. And you know what you're trying to do. And somebody beat you to the bag. That's all. Somebody beat you to the bag, sweetheart. And just figure out your life. But leave that young boy alone. Zion, young fella, mash them. And they say, put on the brakes, boy. Mash your brakes. Because this way that you're living right now, sir, this is a pathway to destruction. Pathway to destruction. Save yourself, young bull. Save yourself. Love, peace, and hair grease. This is Del K. Brereton. This is The Real Spiel. LMS, I'm out. Bye-bye.